Live from Washington, this is BBC News. Lebanon blames Israel for an attack on its capital that killed the deputy leader of Hamas. Israel has not confirmed any involvement. Terror on board a Japan Airlines flight after it collided with a Coast Guard plane. Amazingly, everyone made it out safely. 5 people on board the other aircraft have died. And Harvard's president steps down amid allegations of plagiarism and a controversy over anti-Semitism on campus. Hello, I'm Nasman. Hamas says a blast in Lebanon has left the group's deputy head, Salah al-Arori, and 2 commanders from its armed wing dead. The group says they were among 7 killed in an explosion at its offices in a suburb of Lebanon's capital, Beirut. Hamas is designated a terrorist organization by many Western governments. Mr. al-Arori was deputy chairman of the group's political wing. He was also known to be deeply involved in the group's military affairs. Hamas has called his killing a terrorist act. Israel has not claimed responsibility for that blast. The Israeli military told the BBC it will not comment on reports in the foreign media, but an advisor to the Israeli prime minister described it as a surgical strike against Hamas's leadership, not one on the Lebanese state. Lebanon is blaming Israel, with the country's prime minister condemning the explosion. The country's foreign minister spoke to the BBC's radio program, The World Tonight. The Coast Guard aircraft was on its way to the west coast of Japan to help those affected by that powerful earthquake that hit the country on New Year's Day. Authorities say at least 62 people have now died from that natural disaster. The 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck the Noto Peninsula in central Japan. Tremors were felt hundreds of miles away, even in the capital, Tokyo. Japan's prime minister says it's now a race against time for the 3,000 first responders to rescue those trapped beneath the rubble, and over 57,000 people have now been evacuated. Aftershocks in the region continued on Tuesday. Officials warning that they should be alert for more earthquakes with intensities of up to 7 magnitude in the coming week. Earlier, I spoke to Gavin Hayes. He's the head of the U.S. Geological Survey's earthquake program, who told me about the threat of aftershocks in the region. All right, let's get more now. Joining me to discuss those ongoing rescue efforts from Taipei, we have Rupert Wingfield Hayes, our BBC Asia correspondent. Thank you for being here. Now, the Japanese Prime Minister, as we heard, saying it's now a race against time to find survivors. What are the biggest challenges facing rescuers now on the ground? Now, before we go, a quick trip back in time. The pliosaur was a massive sea monster that terrorized the oceans millions of years ago, a sort of prehistoric mashup of Jurassic Park and Jaws, and a huge skull of that creature was recently discovered in the UK. On Tuesday, it went public for the first time. It's about 2 meters long, or more than 6 feet. It dates back some 150 million years. Researchers estimate that the force of its bite would have been similar to that of a T-Rex, earning the pliosaur the nickname of Sea Rex. Yeah, imagine finding one of those in the ocean. Thank you for watching. I'm Nasman. We'll be back in about 30 minutes with more news at the top of the hour. Stay with us right here on BBC News.